Hello, travelers. Welcome to Reach the World and Happy New Year for you. For those of you who are just joining us here at the beginning of 2022, a new year. For over 20 years, Reach the World has inspired youth to become curious, confident, and compassionate global citizens through virtual exchange. My name is Tim, and I'm so glad you're joining us for today's live stream event, or if not joining us live, watching the recording afterwards. When you think of Iceland, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it cold, snow-covered mountains? Is it a quiet, deep frozen land with few people? Not so fast. Today we're joined by a very special new Reach the World explorer, Alexandra Yingst. And as you can see from her background on this split screen, she is not calling from at least Chicago, where I'm based. She is calling from someplace very cool looking. And I'm so excited to introduce her to you today so that we can learn more about Alexandra, or Allie, and she can tell us more about Iceland and her experiences in this wonderful island nation. So Allie, without any further ado, welcome to Reach the World. I'm so happy to have you with us today.
Thanks, Tim. Hi, everybody.
It is fantastic for you to join us. Before we get into your story and how you came to be living in Iceland, I want to ask you for any students who are joining today who know very little about Iceland, or maybe like have heard it or seen it on a map somewhere. Where are you right now? And tell us a little bit about Iceland, please.
So I am here in Iceland, and Iceland is a tiny little island in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean. So it's to the east of Greenland, but it's to the west of mainland Europe, but it is a part of Europe. And I'm here in the northwest corner of Iceland, kind of remote for the country, and in a little town called Ísafjörður.
All right. So Ísafjörður. I get lost on the third syllable. Is that,
yeah.
Did I say close?
Yeah, you're close enough. It's a to pronounce because the D sounding letter, which is the Icelandic letter eth, it's like a D with a little line through it. That's pronounced there, like a TH sound.
All right. For anyone who has seen Iceland on a map now, for people who know generally where Iceland is in the world, what is the island nation of Iceland like? If you were to be there, what could you expect from a visit to Iceland?
So Iceland is a volcanically formed island that came out of the ocean and is this kind of otherworldly landscape where they've actually done trainings here to pretend that they've been on the moon. Astronauts have, because the landscape is so different than the rest of the world. So you have these lava fields that are covered with moss, and you have these big mountains like the one behind me that are covered in snow during the winter time and part of the summer too. And where I live, it's called the West Fjords of Iceland. And so it's kind of like looking at a hand, and all the little spaces in between my fingers would be the fjords. So you have big, tall mountains on the side, and then bits of the ocean that come inside the fjords. And in a lot of places in Iceland, you have these fjords, and you'll find little towns that are really fishing villages scattered amongst them.
Okay, well, we're going to get very much more into the specifics of Iceland and some of the cool geography and cultural aspects of Iceland over the course of our virtual exchange with you, which I'm very excited about. But I also want to know more about you, and I know our students do too. How did you come to be living and know so much about Iceland?
That's a great question. A lot of people ask, like, how did you end up all the way in this remote corner of the world? But I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I went to college there, and I really wanted to study fisheries. It is something, I love studying the environment, but fisheries is something that I'm really interested in because it kind of connects people to the sea. And Iceland has one of the most sustainable fisheries in the entire world. And something about Iceland just drew me up here, and I came in 2016 for my master's, and now I'm still here doing a PhD, and Iceland really has its hold on me. I don't think I'm ever going to leave.
Can you explain what you mean by sustainable fisheries? What does that mean?
So around the world, the oceans are being overfished, and different policies are put into place by different countries to better manage that resource. And Iceland does a really good job at managing their fisheries. So there are plenty of fish left in the ocean here and plenty of fish to go around for people to eat. So I actually did the master's program here at the University Center of the West Fjords in coastal and marine management. So I learned a lot about fisheries and other issues that impact the ocean and our coastline.
So I take it to, or I can assume then that the beautiful fjord behind you is sometimes populated by fishing boats.
Yes. I don't know if you can see all the way down. There's, I think it's kind of hard to see, but there's this town, Ísafjörður, is like a little spit of land that goes out into the fjord. And it's really, the fjord is deep on one side, and these big fishing boats come in every single day. And it was just New Year's a few days ago. And right at midnight, the fishing boats sounded their horns, and it was really cool. It was a great way to welcome in the new year.
Did it sort of echo off of the walls of the mountains on either side?
It's really loud.
Fantastic. Well, you are on the cusp of Reach the World virtual exchange. We are launching. In fact, we just published your first 2 articles yesterday, and they're so wonderful. I'm excited for the student audience to go and see them. We have an album with some photos, overview of Iceland, and we have your first sort of introductory article that tells us more about you and more about how you came to be living in Iceland. And I'm curious to know, what are you excited to show Reach the World students about Iceland? Like, if students are starting from a place where they don't really know much about it, what are you going to be able to show them that's really going to get them excited?
Probably 2 things I'm most excited for, although I'm really thrilled to be sharing everything about Iceland that I possibly can with students. But I'm most excited to share my stories and photos of the natural environment here, because it is absolutely gorgeous with the mountains and the ocean, and Iceland has lots of glaciers and volcanoes and waterfalls, and it's just so incredible. And I love talking about all of these beautiful things that this country has to offer. And then I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit about Icelandic culture, especially the different food items that they have here. Icelanders eat a very strange, at least to an American standpoint, a strange diet sometimes, with interesting food items that I've been able to sample. So I'm excited to show photos of that and to tell people a little bit more about how I felt when I was introduced to these kind of weird things.
Fantastic. We're very excited to explore Iceland by your side. You are, in my mind, and I know the students will come to see this too, very much an explorer. You exemplify the explorer mindset that Reach the World loves to encourage students to pursue as well. I know that prior to sort of settling into your advanced degree work in Iceland, you have done other explorations. Tell us about some of the other places you've been and the things that you've done.
Sure. So I have worked as an expedition guide on board expedition cruise ships. And this has taken me all over the world, from Antarctica to the Russian Far East to Africa, South America, across Europe. And I have absolutely loved exploring the remote corners of this world. But something about Iceland always draws me back here. It's really just my favorite place to be. And I'm really happy that you're along for this adventure with me so that I can share it with you.
Well, fantastic. I am very excited to learn more about that as we go. We are just on the beginning of this virtual exchange. Any teacher or student or classroom who would like to follow your expedition can do so for free. I put the links in for registration and to your expedition homepage in the chat bar. And with that, I don't want to give too much away because we're about to dive into all sorts of interesting aspects of Iceland. But Ali, thank you so much for joining us from Iceland today. It's fantastic to meet you. It's great to have you here. And we're excited to learn more about you in the weeks to come.
Thank you so much, Tim.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.